Pikachu off. But Red leaps at Pikachu at the last second to save it from danger, telling the Pokemon that he's glad it's safe, and apologizes for forcing him to fight. This resonates with the Pikachu, making it attack the Onix at full power, taking it down. In the anime, at least they tried to give Pikachu a reason for being able to defeat Onix, but here they just said screw it. Make Red Pikachu able to attack ground types. Keep that in mind because it's going to be a trend. That aside, that attack grants Red the victory and the Boulder Badge. Blue also managed to get the badge and most likely got it first, making him the winner of this challenge. But that stuff doesn't really matter as Red now has a new friend in Pikachu, who he introduces to the rest of the team. Red's next journey has him running into an injured girl fighting a Gyarados. Red subs in and helps the girl in restraining and catching the Pokemon, and he's surprised to see a Gyarados in the wild, but the girl tells him that the Pokemon wasn't wild, instead it's her own Pokemon that got stolen from her and has been going rogue until now. Red gets enraged at the fourth Pokemon being stolen and wants to go put these thieves in their place, but he has no idea where they are. He then thinks that Professor Oak might have an idea about it, so he and the girl head to a Pokemon Center and contact Oak, learning that the thieves are known as Team Rocket and have been stealing Pokemon and conducting experiments on them. Oak also tells Red about the Moonstone, hidden in Mount Moon, rumored to be able to boost the power of a Pokemon enormously. And Team Rocket themselves might even be searching for that stone. So with some new intel, Red and the girl, who we learn is called Misty, make an alliance once again to find Team Rocket and the Moonstone, in surprise surprise, Mount Moon. Outside the cave's entrance, sure enough, are Team Rocket, so Red and Misty have to sneak inside to begin their search, using Pikachu's flash as a light source. Inside the cave, Red bumps into Team Rocket, meaning it's now time for a battle. Although he has type disadvantage, Pikachu manages to force Team Rocket's Rhyhorn onto his back foot, making Team Rocket reveal their secret weapon, a syringe that they inject into Rhyhorn, causing it to evolve into Rhydon. Misty tries to help with Staryu, but Rhydon's too powerful and knocks them both out, leaving Red and Pikachu the only ones left standing, but even they struggle to fight back against it. So knowing that he can't win, Red gets Pikachu to cause a cave-in, separating the two sides and allowing him and Misty to escape the mountain. Misty's sad that they failed to get the Moonstone, but Red reveals that under the rocks that fell lied the Moonstone, meaning mission half complete. As thanks for his help, Misty takes Red to her mansion in Cerulean City, and she gets her mates to clean his clothes and heal his Pokemon. Later in the evening at the dinner table, Red brags to the maids about his power in defeating Team Rocket, but Misty tells him that after that encounter, the two should train seriously. Red, however, believes he doesn't need any training, claiming now he knows how to handle Team Rocket, causing the two of them to get into an argument and Misty storming off. Later at night, Red's in his room with his Pokemon, when suddenly he gets attacked by a heavy gust of wind, spinning everything around. After a while, the gust of wind stops and on the floor lies a single Gyarados scale. The next morning, Red tries to think who could have attacked him, when the maids all come in wanting to see him in action, with Red saying he can show off to them against the city's gym leader, to the SS Anne, but not before having to leave Pikachu behind with the chairman, so that he can cuddle it. In order to get on the ship successfully, Red gets Bulbasaur to lift him up from the side, and has it wait for his return whilst he and Polly go onto the ship. Red finds the room that initially had the shadowy figure he saw before, and this time finds nothing but a Pokeball, that turns out to actually be a Voltorb. He and Polly manage to chase it away, but Poliwhirl ends up passing out due to getting electrocuted by an unknown attacker. The attacker reveals himself to Red to be Lieutenant Surge, the one in charge of the SS Anne and all the Pokemon on board. Red tells him he's going to stop him and the thieves, and Surge replies saying that they're not thieves. Instead, they're saving the poor Pokemon from being pampered and unevolved. Although Red's angry, he knows there's not much he can do with only one Pokemon by his side, especially now that Lieutenant Surge is bringing out his secret weapon, Electabuzz. Red barely dodges its attack, but with the use of Poliwhirl's Ice Beam and a Smoke Bomb, they manage to escape. Well, escape for now at least, because Lieutenant Surge has Magnemites flying all over around the ship looking for Red, leaving gaps in their formation to purposefully lead him towards a trap, which awaits him on the ship's deck. And once there, a Magneton appears using Supersonic, causing Red to fling Poliwhirl by accident, allowing Surge to catch Pokemon and throw it overboard. Red then gets trapped inside a magnetic field by Magneton, and Surge gets Electabuzz to finish the job using Thunderbolt, then dropping him into the ocean to be fish food. As Red sinks into the bottom of the ocean, he recalls something similar happening to him when he was a little kid. And at that time, Poliwag evolved into Poliwhirl to save him. And in a great twist of fate, the same thing happens again. This time, however, with Poliwhirl evolving into Poliwrath. Surge tries to fight it, but Poliwrath is way too strong now, and easily overpowers the Electabuzz, sending it flying towards Surge and forcing the two overboard. And so, although Surge got away, his crew were arrested and the Pokemon that were stolen were freed. And due to Red's heroics, the chairman rewards him with a bike, which allows us to segue into Red's next adventure, a bike race that's taking place in Route 11 and 12. With the prize of money on the line, Red decides to take part in the race. Although things aren't going too well for him as his bike kinda sucks. But after witnessing another competitor's idea, he realizes that he can use his Pokemon to help him, with Poliwrath making an ice bridge so that it can go faster, Pikachu shocking all the bugs in the forest, and Bulbasaur cutting open a path for them with Razor Leaf. And everything's going well, until a Beedrill hive falls on Bulbasaur's head, making a horde of Beedrill appear and sting them. However, that's just a small price to pay for the distance they made. Red is currently in third, but manages to catch up with the second and third place riders, after seeing them stopped by a Snorlax blocking their path. Red tries to fight it, but Snorlax's rest heals any damage done. The only thing to make Snorlax move is food, and the only food Red has is the honey left on Bulbasaur's head, offering Bulbasaur as a snack to entice the Snorlax into waking up, which actually works, causing the Pokemon to chase them all the way to the finish line. But everything worked out in the end as Red won the race and caught Snorlax, which he nicknamed Snore. Red now heads north of Route 12 and reaches Lavender Town, where it's chucking it down with rain. And to make matters worse, the people there are even less than friendly. All but one being an old man named Mr. Fuji, who's paying respects to his late dojo. Mr. Fuji invites Red to his house and explains to Red that Lavender Town Cemetery is called the Pokemon Tower and recently has become under attack by ghosts who have been scaring people and making them unable to put their Pokemon to rest. Mr. Fuji shows Red some photos of his dojo, and in one of the photos is Blue. Mr. Fuji tells Red that Blue came to the town just before Dojo passed and headed to the Pokemon Tower in order to stop the ghosts, but that was 2 weeks ago and he hasn't returned since. Red knows it's unlike Blue to go down easily, meaning the rumors of the tower having a serious ghost problem could be true, and the only way for him to solve it is to tackle it head on. Inside the tower, the fog is everywhere and Pokemon begin to surround Red, rushing up to him and revealing themselves to be Pokemon corpses. Red tries to fight them, but his attacks have no effect, so he and Bulbasaur flee out the fog and realize that the Pokemon are no longer chasing them, meaning what he needs to do is attack the fog rather than the zombies. But before he can execute his plan, a fireball gets shot at him, and from inside his fog appears Blue, who's been possessed and begins attacking Red. Whilst Red's trying to fight back, a Ghastly reveals itself, being the one in control of the fog, and Red deals with it by having Bulbasaur suck in the fog with Solar Beam, firing it out of the tower and freeing Blue from its control. Blue reluctantly thanks Red for his assistance, but now it's his turn to deal with things. As he reveals, Ghastly wasn't the only person in control of his tower scheme, instead a person was there too. So the two of them head up the tower where they get attacked by an Arbok and his trainer, being member of Team Rocket's elite triad, the ninja Koga, and the same guy Red saw at Mount Moon. However, Koga is only here as a projection, with his actual body being outside the tower. Koga's Arbok begins to attack Red and Blue, forcing them to retreat back to where the zombie Pokemon were, which actually turns out to be part of Blue's plan, using a dead Pokemon as a meat shield to take down the Arbok. So with Koga's Pokemon being defeated, the Pokemon Tower is now free, and Red and Blue can continue on their journeys. Or should I say, adventures. Red continues to train up his team, and eventually Bulbasaur evolves into Ivysaur. A girl then appears and congratulates Red on his achievement, as well as to advertise her Pokemon item business, swindling him with her looks and personality into buying worthless gear. After getting scammed, Red takes a trip to the Pokemon Center and decides to call Professor Oak, showcasing the professor his new Ivysaur, making the professor bring up Squirtle, the third Pokemon he had been researching, but unfortunately Squirtle got stolen. Red leaves the Pokemon Center and by coincidence runs into the girl from before, rushing over to her and demanding a refund. The girl tries to flee using her war turtle to sail across the river, but Red uses Snorlax to block her path. She tries to trick Red again, but this time he's used to her tactics and gets Snorlax to take her out with Mega Punch. With the girl unconscious, Red takes his money back from her wallet, finding out her name is Green, and theorizing that she may be the one who scores Squirtle due to her having a war turtle. Later at night, Red checks his jacket, only to see his badges are now missing. The next day, Red looks around Celadon City in hopes of finding them and realizing Green must have stolen them. Just then, two Team Rocket grunts walk by, talking about how they're searching for Green as well. So Red decides to ambush one of them and sneak into Team Rocket's base at the game corner. Inside, Red sees a bunch of scientists surrounding a weird looking Pokemon inside a tube. He then overhears their conversation on how they're lacking the cells from Mew to finish off the Pokemon's body, and the cell data they need just so happens to be with Green, who stole it from them. A monitor then suddenly starts to beep, informing all the members that Green has been spotted. So they all, Red included, head for her location, managing to get her surrounded. Green tries to fight back, but struggles when she gets pushed to a ledge by Tauros, forcing Red to dive in and save her. Green then sends out her Ditto to confuse all the Pokemon and give her and Red the chance to escape. Once the two escape, Green explains to Red her plans of wanting to catch Mew, showing him the Pokemon using Ditto's transforming ability. Red then recognizes it as the phantom Pokemon that he saw at Pallet Town. Green then takes out a machine that she calls the Mewview in order to search for Mew's psychic patterns. While searching, Red tells Green about what he saw inside Team Rocket's base, wanting to know her reasons for trying to find Mew, and Green says it's money, since she's the ultimate hustle queen. Suddenly, a whirlwind surrounds the two as Mew appears. Red and Green do their best to catch it, but Team Rocket appear and get in their way. Red sends out Poliwrath to protect Mew, but it gets frozen by Jinx. However, this wasn't all for nothing, as Mew recognizes Red's act of kindness and counterattacks using an even stronger blizzard to freeze Team Rocket, then escapes as fast as it appeared. Although they didn't manage to catch Mew, Green managed to get some photos of it, so it's time for her to make her exit, but not before returning Red his badges. Now we take a detour, cutting away from Red for the first time and going over to Blue, who's recently racked up enough points at the game corner to buy a Pokémon. The man working there tells Blue that Pokémon that you buy are much harder to train than Pokémons that you've caught yourself. We then go back to Red, who's trying to leave Celadon City, but before he can, he bumps into Blue, mixing up the two's Pokémon without them realizing it. And after some shenanigans, Red tries to befriend Blue's Pokémon, but to no luck. After a while, Blue's Pokémon start training themselves, impressing Red at their discipline. 3 days go by and the Pokémon still don't listen to Red, but they're not being as aggressive either. As for Blue on the other hand, he's training Red's Pokémon harder than they've ever been trained before. As Red's roaming the outskirts of Celadon, he runs into a Ninetales who's fighting against Blue. The Ninetales then suddenly rushes at Red, who counters by sending out Machoke. Red and Blue then start to argue about how they're treating each other's Pokémon, but suddenly Machoke begins to evolve into Machamp, allowing both trainers to throw a Pokéball and catch the Ninetales. Although technically Red's Pokéball caught the Pokémon, Blue claims the Pokémon is his as he did all the hard work, and the two trade back their Pokémon, with Red now noticing how his Pokémon all have a scary look on their face due to training with Blue. Now Red makes his way down the cycling road, before he runs into a Tangler who jumps in front of him, causing him to fall off his bike. Red tries to chase the Pokémon down, but he gets stopped by the townspeople who tell Red that Lady Erica is inside the building Tangler ran into. Erica herself then steps out of the building, apologizing to Red for her Tangler's actions. One of the townspeople mentioned that Erica's a gym leader, so Red decides to challenge her to a battle, and she accepts, but only under the condition that Red finds and catches an Eevee. Since finding Eevee is not a simple task, Red goes to a